Hello. Happy Sunday morning. I want to come on and talk to you about something that Joe Wood and I have been building behind the scenes. We're very excited to share this with you. And I promised to run a demo this morning, which was much longer than I thought, actually. I had some login issues and things. So I thought, do you know what? I'm going to come in and I'm going to do this again and make sure it's available for my LinkedIn community as well. If you don't know me, I'm Zoe Whitman. I'm part of the Six Figure Bookkeeper. I work with Joe Wood. We have a huge community of bookkeepers around the world who are growing their businesses. And one of the biggest challenges that I see is in the ability to market yourself as a bookkeeper or an accountant. And I'm really speaking to small practice owners, although I know this is also a challenge for like the larger regional practices as well, who are maybe just getting to that level of investing in a marketing team. In 2018, I won the ICB's Social Media Influencer of the Year award. I don't think I was doing anything particularly special, but what I was doing was showing up online and I was building a personal brand. And I know that having built a personal brand is the reason that I could, in those days, sell bookkeeping services, in these days, build a community of bookkeepers and support them with training that we sell. We've since launched a piece of software called Hey Monica, and here I am talking to you about a new piece of software which you can access at bookkeepersmarketing.com. If you're in the Bookkeepers Collective, which is our program for bookkeepers, we talk about personal brand building all the time. What I find is that the business element of the marketing gets neglected. And recently, over the last couple of weeks, I've been involved in judging the Accounting Excellence Awards entries for the marketing category. I was the head judge, and those entries were incredible, but they were incredible for so many different reasons. And it really highlights to me how different our approach can be to marketing depending on either the size of our business or the budget of our business or the creativity of the people in our business. And I think because those are so varied, we see such different marketing from different firms, and it can sometimes feel like it's not a level playing field. In fact, it definitely isn't a level playing field. So you've got to use the tools that are available to you. When I was looking at those award entries, all of the entries were brilliant, but what was brilliant about them was what they were able to do with their budget. So we would have somebody who had zero budget and they were like, okay, but I'm creative, so I'm going to go out and I'm going to do some great TikTok stuff and I'm going to speak to my ideal client in the way they expect to hear from me, and I'm going to show my expertise and credibility. And then on the other end of the scale, you have people who are part of large marketing teams, and there is a large budget to invest, and they're able to invest in a sort of corporate level rebrand, and they're able to show up with these assets, which I don't expect to see from a small practice. And if you're watching this, I expect that you are a small business service provider. And Joe and I have spent so much time thinking we really need a solution here that can help a bookkeeper or accountant hold that space for personal brand building, but also means that the business brand isn't neglected. Because if you build your personal brand, what's going to happen is people who see you, people who come into your world and they start to trust you, like, okay, I want to buy something from you. And then if they go and look you up on your business socials and there's nothing there, it's like, are they still there? Do they still do the thing? And I think that lots of bookkeepers I know particularly spend a lot of time on Canva trying to create things. And because they're not designers or they don't see design in the same way, it's not always consistent. It isn't always consistent in terms of appearance, tone of voice, but also just the consistency of showing up. That's really hard. It's really hard when you're running your own business. You are the only person doing all the things, and you're hearing from people like me, you've got to be more visible. So I've been really passionate about content creation and AI over the last years, and I'm a bookkeeper and accountant by training. So bringing all of these things together was an absolute no-brainer. We've already got a software company that is building AI. We work on personal brand all the time. If you're watching this on LinkedIn, you know that I'm here every day. But how do we help bookkeepers to do that? And Joe and I have tried to do that. If you're in the Bookkeepers Collective already, you have access to pretty much done for you templated content that you can use every month. We write it every month, but the problem is it isn't in your tone of voice, and it isn't for your ideal client. So what we wanted to do was give you an opportunity to have something which you could tailor with your own brand, your own logo, your own style, colors, fonts, all of that, your own tone of voice as well, and speaking to the right kind of client to bring together the idea of it looks like you have a designer, a copywriter, and a PR agency helping you to grow your brand. So I hope you're as excited about this as I am. We have worked really closely with a company who have built this to make it available for bookkeepers, and we have piled the years of experience we have in creating content for bookkeepers into this so that you have one solution, one subscription. I think this will replace things that you're using at the moment, and you can do this in, I don't know, I think this might take me half an hour or so to get through this training. So what I'm going to do is actually just demo this for you. I want to show you how to set it up. I'm going to set this up for my fictional bookkeeping practice, which is called Grid Bookkeeping. I don't plan to start a bookkeeping practice. And I've been there. I've got to do this right now. And what I'm going to do is set it all up. I'm going to set up the design elements so it looks great. I'm going to set up the AI prompts so that it speaks like me and speaks to people that I want to be speaking to. And then I'm going to set up a schedule so that you know the same content is going out over and over again about different particular expert topics. And then I'm going to show you how the AI generator can create, let's write two weeks of copy, 2 weeks of content while we're actually here on this session as well. So let me show you how it works. I'm excited about it. So you can sign up at bookkeepersmarketing.com. It is live now. We've got about 25 people who've signed up over the last 2 days. So I'm really excited to see you here. When you sign up, you'll get an email with all the details of everything you need. I talk fast, so I'm going to fuel myself with coffee. Okay, I've got a bit of a list of things to go through. So when you sign up, you get 2 weeks for free. You'll be asked for your card details, but then you get 2 weeks, and you can see I've set up a new account this morning. I've still got 13 days left in my trial. So I'm doing this just like you might be doing this right now. You can cancel anytime. If you go into settings, you've got a subscription. In fact, I can show you all of this stuff. If you go into settings, under billing information, you can go in and you can get your invoice and you can change your subscription details if you want to do that. But I would encourage you to go and try it because I'd love to know what you think. So please go and do that. Okay, so first things first, what we need to do is connect up our social media accounts. You can't use this without the connections in there. It's not just a tool that creates the content, it's a tool that post the content for you. So let's start with LinkedIn. We can connect this to our LinkedIn personal account and our business page. So I'm just going to click on connect profile and it will open another window. I don't think you have the ability to see that other window that's opening for me right now, but I will need to add in my login details. And then it will say, would you like to connect to Sysoma? Sysoma is the platform that that journal has been built on. So I will say, yes, I would like to do that. And it's just asking me to sign in again. Let me sign in. It's verifying me. Great. And then it says, great, you're connected. What page do you want to post to? So you would then choose your business page. So I'm just going to choose Six-Figure Bookkeeper. Obviously in real life, I would be posting to my new fictitious bookkeeping practice, Grid Bookkeeping, and it will ask me what page. So it will put my profile in and it will put my business page in as well. What I do then is I go to the Facebook button and I can connect my Meta business account, which will mean I can connect my Facebook business page, and I can also connect my Instagram business page. Has to be a business account. Problem I've got in demoing this for you is I have had my Facebook account suspended. So because I've been talking about journal too much, I think. So I can't do that bit for you, but it's okay. We're going to work with LinkedIn. But you can also be posting to those two places as well. So connect up your social media accounts, easy peasy, just a case of logging in and saying, yes, I want to do the connections. Okay, next thing in the setup, let's go to design. So this is where we set up how we want our content to appear. So there's a little paint palette. There's a few different steps to go through here. First thing we need to do is add a logo. So if under logo, you choose select image, you need a PNG file. I would suggest also having a clear background on the logo that you have. So create a PNG. It's got to be 500 by 200 pixels with a clear background. So there's the logo for my fictional bookkeeping practice, Grid Bookkeeping. Please let me know in the comments, by the way. I can see if you're here. I'd love to know what you think. That would be great. Or if you're using it already, what have you enjoyed so far? So pop your logo in there. And what you'll see in a minute is that there are a number of different templates. So we wanted to give you a beautiful collection of complementary tiles, graphics to support social media posts you're putting out. This is the bit that we're missing, as well as great copy as well, just the ability to put something out that looks professional. So we wanted to give you a complementary set of images that can go alongside your social media content. You can still put photos in. You could put a photo of yourself. That's my number one way of creating personal brand LinkedIn content. Write something, put a photo of myself. You can do that. You put a photo of your team or your office space or whatever you've got. But if you want to have something that's also got your logo and your website on it, you can do this here. So you have an insight post, a team post, a miscellaneous post, a testimonial post, and a quote post here. And what we're going to do is we're going to make these look on brand for you. So if you want to, let's use this one because it's got a grey background. Depending on which post style we're using, you can also, as well as having a coloured logo or whatever your logo looks like, you can also make it, where are we, run a quote. I can also make it black, or I can make it white if it's on a quote post, so that if it's, going to otherwise sort of conflict with another color you've got in the background, you can do that as well, which I quite like as a feature. So that's an option too. But before you make that decision, what you probably want to do is decide on the colors, and you want to choose the design set. So you've got this set of 5 posts. So let's go into design sets. And then you've got lots of different sets of designs, depending on how you like your stuff to look, right? And there's probably a style that you're like, oh yeah, that's us. That's what we do, or that's the kind of thing that I like. So you can choose one of these. For Hey Monica, our other software company, we obviously have this little cute mascot Monica that pops up. The cartoony one really works for us. So that's what we've been using for Hey Monica. For Six Figure Bookkeeper, we use this honeycomb. Our branding is a hexagon, so this works for us here. But let's see what we can use. I don't know. Let's use this one. Line wave. So we're going to use this for this particular content right now for Grid Bookkeeping. And what we can do now is change the colors. So if you go to colors, you can choose one of these color sets. So you can, let me see if there's another view of that. It's very white, actually, isn't it, this one? I can change the colors if I want to, so I can make it look different. I quite like that. It's very bright. Let's stick with that for this demo. So I can choose this very bright set, but what you can see is that blue really clashes against the pink. So if I'm not happy with that, I can go back to the logo and I can say, actually, on all of these, I want it to be a white logo. I might want to customize some of the colors as well. So maybe I go in and I choose my own and I say, I actually don't want a turquoise in there. I'm just going to make that white instead, or something like that. So I get to choose all of those kind of things. Right. I'm worried that black isn't going to work now that I've messed with this. No, I think we're good. Okay, we've got a very, very bright pink brand happening. That's okay. Let's go with it. So that's done. So I'm just going to save changes. So we've got design set up. The other thing we want to do is make sure that our website appears on our any of these cover images. So if you go to business info, you can just type in your website, which is my fictitious business, Grid Bookkeeping. I can put that in, and can you see that it just popped that URL in there for me? It's quite small, but it means that on every post that I put out, I now have my website, and it looks nicely designed. So there we go. So that's great. So that's all set up now. So in terms of appearance, spot on. Really happy with that. What do I need to do now? What I need to do now is go and do some AI settings. So we've got the imagery looking really good. What we want to do is get the copy, the text looking really good as well. And because it's very much AI generated, we get to make it very personal by writing in our own tone of voice, but also speaking to the type of client that we want to be speaking to. So let me show you how to do that. So we're still in settings here. And let's just save those changes. I'm going to click on this little magic wand, the AI settings. What I do here is I put in some general details. So what's my name? Let me just log it off here. And what's the name of my business? What industry am I in? What's my job role? Now, I've put job role as bookkeeper because I want the AI to speak like a bookkeeper, someone who understands the craft of bookkeeping. I'd like to say director or business owner or founder or something like that, but I don't think it will understand what that means. So if you want to be really specific with your job role, that can be helpful. Business location, a call to action. So sometimes when we're using the AI prompts, which I'll show you in a bit, it will say, would you like to include a call to action? So you need to tell it what the call to action is going to be. I always think you want people to be booking calls with you, but it might be that you have something in your bio, like download my free fact sheet or something in my bio or something like that. So you write in whatever you think the most appropriate call to action is. You can always change it. But it's just so that when you're doing like a quick AI creation, it will start with this as your sort of default data. And then you can put some additional business information in terms of, you know, what do they need to, what does the AI need to know about you and what you care about and what you do really well to be able to write about the things you care about. So it's going to be about what you sell, what your services are, what software you use, maybe what kind of clients you work with, maybe some of the wins you've got, the size of your team, your values, that sort of thing. Why you do this, why you care. So I've got a bit of information in there. Then I get to go to quick create. So because this is an AI powered social media tool, we'll be creating posts by, it really is just a case of a couple of clicks. So to get that content in there for you, you want to decide on how long are my posts? What tone of voice do I want to use? What do I want to include? So you've got lots of options here. You can choose the length of your post. You can choose the tone of voice. I like to be professional, empathetic. I'm not funny, so I won't choose funny. I do want to include a call to action. I like to put a list in. I don't want to put emojis in. These are different copywriting frameworks. So how do I want that to structure that copy? I find that these two frameworks have been quite good for the content I've tried so far. I've done lots of experimenting with this. So choose how you'd like it to be. You know, you can change this at any time as well. So that's quite helpful. Then we get to set up some tones of voice. So there are some already built in here for you. So if you think, you know, you're straight talking and practical, you can choose this. Or if you've got your own tone of voice, you can actually, you can create one either by typing it in or by actually reading the content of your own website, which I really love. So what I could do is go to my website, or tell it to go to my website, have a read of the text and give me a summary of the tone of voice. So this actually looks at our website right now and says, this is how we write. So if I wanted to, and I was like, that is correct, I could tick the default box and I could make that my tone of voice. I'm going to use this supportive and empowering, which I've done earlier in Blue Peter style, grid bookkeeping, supportive and empowering tone. Then I need to, so I've decided how I write, how I want the AI to write like me. Now I want to tell the AI who it's speaking to. So who is the persona you are speaking to? So this will be about knowing your ideal client. You need to know who you're selling to so you can get on their wavelength and, you know, get in their head a little bit, like talk about the problems they've got so you can solve them, so you are seen as the solution. So you can create your own persona. You can type the details in if you've got like an ideal client avatar or something. There's an AI system that can support you through it. You can also read a website. Just make sure it's written, that when this persona is written, it obviously needs to talk about who the client is. I've typed mine in already. And I've got this creative agency owner. So I've spoken about, you know, what kind of person are they? What's their business looking like right now? What systems might they be using? What are their challenges? What are their goals for the future? And then I love this because I hate it when I really pick up on an AI piece of content. You've got a list of banned words and phrases. So this is some of the words. I've never seen AI use folks, but what I have seen AI use is navigate. So when there's words like that and you're like, oh, I hate it when I see that, you can add them in here. And you do that by clicking add word and phrase, type the word in and click and. So that's a very helpful tool to have. And then we've set up the AI settings. So we've done the imagery, we've done how it's going to write. Now what we need to do is give it some stuff to create. So I'm just going to check my comments. No, we're 20 minutes in. So setup is done. Setup is done. What we're going to do now is we're going to create a schedule. And you can try this at bookkeepersmarketing.com. You can have 2 weeks for free. Please get 2 weeks for free. This is going to revolutionize the way that you create marketing content for your bookkeeping business. What you can do then is create a recurring schedule of the content that you want to go out, and then we'll get it to create the content. So let me show you how to do that. We have this recurring schedule here on the left, the little calendar, and basically what we're going to do is we're going to say over the course of 4 weeks, this is the pattern of content you're going to create for me. So, and we can define what goes in here if we want to. So we might say every Wednesday, I want to publish on my business LinkedIn page I don't know, what do I want to create? An introduction post, like, hey, for anyone who's new here, this is what you need to know about me. Maybe I feel like it's enough for me to put that out once a fortnight. So I'm going to put that out in week 1 and week 3, every Wednesday at, I don't know, 1 o'clock. Obviously, you want to understand your analytics to decide when to do that. And then I'm going to click on add post. So now it's put into my schedule that introduction post is going to go out every fortnight on a Wednesday. But I don't have to choose the categories. What I could do instead is I could use a pre-made schedule. So if I go into labs and I go into schedule lab, there are lots of pre-made schedules that you can use, some which are built into the software, some which are designed by us as bookkeeper schedules, giving you an option to have like a light touch schedule, or a regular schedule where you're posting 3 or 4 times a week, or a bold schedule where you're posting 5 times a week. Ideally, I'd like you to post 7 days a week on all the platforms. I know that's not realistic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a LinkedIn Business Lite schedule, which I can click on it and it shows me what it looks like. It's going to put out a tip post every Tuesday, and it's going to share a client win on a Thursday and a who I help alternating Thursdays. Okay. So if I want to, I can use that schedule. And because I've already put something in my schedule, I'm just going to merge it with everything that's already there. I don't want to replace that other post that I said I would do. So that's added that into my schedule. So if I just go back to my little calendar, I can see now that I've got these simple tips, client wins, and then that introduction post I already mentioned. Now I could also put my personal brand content in here too. I've only done the business stuff. I'm just going to show you the business things for now. But you also can put your own post. You can also just put things in because you feel like it, or you're inspired, or you've had an idea and you're like, oh my gosh, I must put a post out about that. You can do that at any time by clicking on the plus, create post, create from scratch, and you can type it in here. And you can use AI to help you if you want to, and then you can schedule it or you can post it now. So that's an option too. But now I've got this calendar done, so that's my schedule set up. All I need to do now is actually write the content. So let's do that. So let's see if we can write some content for the next 2 weeks. So there's 5 posts that we're going to get to go out over the next 2 weeks. Then I'm going to show you a little news hacking tip as well before I wrap up. What that schedule has done is it's populated a queue for me. So if I go to the queue, this gives me all of the posts that I'm going to be creating forevermore, and it will just keep building out and building out and building out and building out forever. Okay. I've obviously used this before, so I've got some content scheduled already, but I'm just going to go in. Do you see the green ones? They're approved. They've already been written. The blue ones are awaiting approval. They have not been written yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in and write those ones. So I need to create a simple tip to help my audience that's going to go out on the 24th at 9 a.m. So if I click on that item in the queue, on the right-hand side, it gives me a post idea. So it's saying, this is the idea we're going to use for that post. What's something most clients are surprised to learn is actually quite simple once they've worked with you. So what we can do, if we know the answer, we can go in and we can click advanced create and we can write the text in. But I'm expecting the reason you're here looking for an AI solution for this is that you have not got time to think of that stuff. So what you can do is you can click on quick create. Now, do you remember we gave the AI settings some guidelines? We said this is the tone of voice you're going to use. This is a persona. This is how long we want the post to be. This is, we want you to include a call to action, We went through and we told it that. So what it's done is it's used those AI rules and it's written us a caption. Many clients think bookkeeping is a complex maze. One client recently shared, I thought understanding my finances would take hours of time each month. Common misconceptions include this. What really matters is this. This is our approach. So I've got a caption. If I want to, I can tweak that. Maybe my client didn't share that. I want to write something out about like, I often find that my clients feel like this. You can change that how you want to change it. But the caption is pretty much done. I can also do things like add hashtags if I want to, add emojis, things like that happen at the bottom as well. But pretty much the caption is done. And what I can do then is, and if this was a personal brand post, if I was posting for me, I probably wouldn't use one of those pretty design templates. I would probably add my own image right now from my computer. Here's one of me and Joe. I would just put a photo in from my own, my own phone. All the million of selfies I've ever taken, I would just choose one of them and I would put it alongside some text and that would go out on my personal account. But because this is a business post for our business page, we might not want to do that. We might have some professional photos to use. We might just want to create the kind of imagery you would have in the past gone into Canva and thought, oh, what do I do with this? So the way to do that is where it says content type at the top here, we click on this and we choose to use one of those templates we created. So if it's an insight, I can choose this insight image that we've created and it just puts my photo onto it. So let's stick with that. So if I'm happy with that and I've got my image there, the only other thing to do is just, you see this text here, the surprising simplicity behind our most complex tasks. Maybe I'm like, those words, that's not quite what I want to say. Maybe I want to say something else. So this post was about like what's surprisingly easy or common misconceptions. So maybe I want to say like, do you have these common misconceptions about bookkeeping too? And I can type it in and it will change it on here. Luckily, there's a spell check in there. So I can change the words. And then if I want to even, I could use the AI to rewrite that. Are you falling for these common bookkeeping myths? Maybe I prefer that. So I can choose what I want to do. And then if I'm happy, I click approve. And then that post is in the queue. So I can go in, let's do this because I promised I would do 2 weeks of content. So I'm going to do this right now. Next post. It's doing a quick create. Caption image, right? You thrive when you work with those who understand the numbers. One client mentioned feeling lost with their finances. They just wanted clarity. So maybe I want to put an image in there. Sorry, maybe I want to choose a template for that. And then we want to put an image in with it. Now, if I don't want to upload my own image, what I can do is I can use lots of free image resources and tools all over the internet. So what I could do instead is go into Pexels or Unsplash or Pixabay, and I could search for something like women working in an office or whatever you like to use. There's a nice team picture. And then that image will be added onto that post for me. And if I'm happy, maybe I want to change the text as well. What was the caption about again? Here's how to get clarity with your finances. I can approve it. Now, if I decide that I want to change something about the way, like maybe I'm looking at these captions like, oh, that's not quite how I want it. Remember, you can go back to settings and you can go back into the AI settings and you can change things. So maybe like I'm seeing these numbered lists and I'm like, I'm not sure about these numbered lists here. So I'm going to take that out and I'm going to save it and I'm going to go back to my queue and I'm going to go and do the next one. So simple tips. Stop waiting for the perfect plan to make a change. A client once shared how overwhelmed she felt by her finances. People put bookkeeping off till it's too late. I might want to reword that a little bit. When I'm happy with it, what I'll do is put an image alongside it. You see how this works. I'm going to just move on because otherwise I'm going to spend a lot of time doing this. So if I'm happy, I go ahead, I approve it, I add it to the queue. Okay, so really simple. Once you've got the schedule, it's so simple to make really well designed, consistent content that looks great. It works with everything else that you've got, and tells people how to connect with you and what to do next. That's really important. It helps you with that consistency piece. I want to just show you one other thing before I stop. There are a few different and maybe I'll show you two other things. What I'm going to show you is we went into Schedule Lab when we were choosing that schedule that we wanted to overlay onto our recurring schedule. What you might also like to see is that in the Content Lab, this is where all of these posts come from. So when we're saying, look, today I want to post something about my expertise, there are loads of posts in here which have been designed by us from all the work we've done with bookkeepers over the years to understand what kind of things the bookkeepers need to be talking about or want to talk about. We've got all of these prompts in here. There are pages and pages of them. So what it's doing is it's picking up one of these prompts, and that's what's feeding the ideas that are then going into Quick Create when you're working through the queue. So that's all there. There's also lots of core content that's here. When we work with Sosoma to get this built out, they've also put lots of content in here as well. But two really brilliant things you can do. One of those really brilliant things you can do is if you have a team member, and we want to put those posts out every now and again where we're like, well, here's meet the team. Here's Sophie who works in my team. We don't want to just put that out once. We want to put that out like every couple of months. So if you've got something like that can be templated, you can put it in here. You can create a team member post about your team and it will save it. You can either post it now or schedule it, but it will save it. If you choose save options, you can save in your team section. You can do the same with client testimonials. You don't want to just share a testimonial once and forget about it. You want that to keep going out. This is the stuff that shows you really are good at what you do. So you can create a testimonial post and you can save it as a testimonial so that if in your queue it says every 2 weeks on a Monday I share a testimonial post, it can just pull one of these testimonials and recycle it. So that's really helpful. The other thing that's going to help you with your personal brand and showing your expertise is that we have this really great feature under My News. So this is in Labs, in Content, and then under My News, where there are all of the latest news stories coming from lots of great sources. So it's all the doom and gloom of the world, but we can also filter this on finance or business. And when we filtered it and we found a story, because those days where there's like a budget announcement or something important has happened, you might want to share your take on that, but you might need a bit of help structuring your take on that into a social media post. So what you can do is go into here, you can find one of these stories. Here's one from The Guardian. Economic policymaking needs to adapt to the something. Companies raise prices during cost shocks, researchers say, and policymakers are not equipped to tackle such inflation. Okay, that might be something that I want to talk. That's been released today, 22nd of June. Maybe I want to write something about my thoughts on inflation and how businesses are adapting to cost shocks. So what I could do is I could click on that article. I could read it. And when I've read it and I've thought, okay, and just to say I have not read this article. Yeah, this is new news to me. I can click on create post with AI and I can say, do I feel positive about this or negative about this or neutral? Am I just sharing the news or do I want to share a particular viewpoint on it? I'm going to say neutral. I get to choose a tone of voice, conversational, casual, humorous. I'm not funny. Authoritative. How do I want to write? I probably want to write about it in like a conversational, probably not very casual though. I don't know, maybe I am quite casual. Let's conversation and casual. I want to write an 80 to 100 word post about it. I probably want to write a bit more about it actually. And then I want to write a caption, but I could also share it with a poll. If I want to ask my audience, what do you think about this? I could put a poll alongside it as well. So I can put a caption in, and then I could share my thoughts. Maybe as a bookkeeper, my clients are like my maybe I've got clients who are very like under a lot of pressure because of cost of living or cost of imports rising or something like that, pricing. As a bookkeeper, some of my clients are severely impacted by rising costs of raw materials due to climate emergency. Are you experiencing this too? You know, what do I want to say? Am I asking for engagement in this, or am I sharing this story as a am I just saying, you know, climate change is bad, or am I saying, here's how we plan, here are my tips on how you can plan for unexpected cost shocks? Let's do that. Okay, let's do that. And then I'm going to generate this, and it's going to write me something. The rising cost of raw materials are hitting businesses hard. One of my clients recently mentioned how the price of chocolate has skyrocketed by 18% this month. It's frustrating. Did she? I don't know that I'm going to say that. What people often overlook: climate disasters are reshaping our economy. Companies are quick to raise prices. So I can change how I write this, or if I'm happy, I can share it it shares some tips. As a bookkeeper, I advise my clients to do this: keep an eye on cash flow, consider building a buffer for surprise expenses, look into a way to diversify suppliers to mitigate risk. How are you adapting to these changes? So if I was happy with that, I could then add an insight. I need to change the words because I need to say, are the rising costs of supplies affecting your business? Due to climate change impacting your business? And maybe I think about what imagery I want to put with that. Maybe I want to put some kind of like heat wave photo or something. Cool. These are sad, doom and gloom. But it is, isn't it, really? Oh, there's a nice picture of lots of people in the water. And then I can post now, or I can schedule. Oh, I need to choose where it's going. And then I can see a preview of it. And then if I'm happy, I can either schedule it, and maybe I want to schedule it so it goes out on the 27th or something, or I can post it right now as well. And then what will happen is if I go back to my queue and I find the 27th, custom post, there it is. So I can see it there. So, and you can also see a calendar view, by the way, if you're interested. You can see like a calendar view of this stuff that you've created. You can also see, this as a list as well. I'm very excited to be able to share this with you. If you haven't signed up yet, you can go and do that at bookkeepersmarketing.com. You get 14 days for free. I believe that this is going to remove your need for other tools, such as a scheduling tool. If you don't use Canva very much, it might even take away your need to use Canva, because you will have preset designs that you can just use in here. And there are images in here, and it's free, and it's one subscription. It's £49, including VAT per month. I think that is well worth the exchange of having copywriting, design, opportunity to news hack, PR included as well for your business. And I am very excited to see what you're sharing online. So let me know if you're going to sign up. If you've got any questions, drop us an email, hello@sixfigurebookkeeper.com, because Journal is a Six Figure Bookkeeper product. And look forward to seeing you online. Thanks, everyone. Bye.